Hello and welcome back to Tales from the Age of Men. And, well, what we're doing is we're actually traveled all the way into RHUN territory. Now, this is obviously going to be a bit troublemaking kind of stuff. Now, I am actually on the FIEFS screen here because someone made a very, very good suggestion, which generally I have not really had that much faith in the past, because it never really works for me. However, the game has a restriction in this case, unfortunately. It would have probably worked out really, really nicely if it wasn't Thranduil himself. Obviously, you can see here, you can bring forward the proposal to give the settlement to someone else. Now, that's obviously fantastic if Thranduil himself didn't have this fief, for example, like Gundabad itself, right? Like, Gundabad itself would have been really, really nice. I'm actually not entirely sure. Did he... Wait a minute. I need to just have a quick look. Oh, he lost it! Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, yeah, no, there you go. So that's the reason why, well, technically that's not the reason why, because I'm going to show you the reason why we can't actually do anything here with this guy. And the reason why we can't do anything here, like, for example, let's say that I wanted to get this. You cannot annex a ruling clan's settlement. Now, I obviously didn't know that. The person that commented obviously didn't know that. So, yeah, I do appreciate you trying to help with that, because that was, I gotta say, that was absolutely gear-grindingly awful. It was really, really terrible for that to happen in the previous episode. But he's actually going to end up losing this. Look at this. He's going to end up losing all of these fiefs. Look at the loyalty in all these places. The loyalty, look at the loyalty here. 15 right there, 27 there. I mean, 27 is a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, it's quite funny that his loyalty over here in Thranduil's halls itself is at 57. I mean, he's just going to fail 100%. Like, all of what he's doing is making things so extremely difficult for us, and he just couldn't look beyond and basically be like, yeah, I'm going to give you a fief, you know? But obviously he decided not to do that in the previous episode. So yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to leave. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave, but the question is, do we want to leave before or after we take this? The funny thing is, if we do actually, you know what, I'm actually going to try and take this as a vassal, and we're going to see whether he actually gives this to us. Oh, by the way, we did level up a little bit more, obviously, since the previous episode. I actually did not spec my perk points, hilariously enough, so I should probably do that. And you can see here, okay, now I might have gone a little bit overboard with endurance here then, because I actually didn't think I was going to get to this part. I thought to myself, oh yes, I'm probably going to get, you know, decently high, you know, in smithing skill, but I never thought I'd get to 225, so there you go. Anyway, we're going to be taking strong legs, because as you've seen in previous episodes, strong legs, in my opinion, that really does make a big, big difference to us. We're also going to be taking citizen militia, 20% increased morale from victories. I mean, come on, how can we say no to that, right? And we're also going to be going for veterinarian. Now, the reason why I'm going for veterinarian here is purely because of the 50% chance to recover mounts of dead cavalry troops in battles. That is the only reason why I'm going for that. Now, this is obviously really, really cool. And I'm going to say this right now. Obviously, I had a lot of complaints, or should we say I had a lot of comments on the, you know, for me personally, on the siege bombardment mechanic. You know, I'm not a big fan of the siege bombardment mechanic right now, but just purely because what it does is it doesn't allow you to have as much control over who is actually at the front line and who is actually going to be taking damage when one of your ranged siege engines gets destroyed. I feel like I should have been a little bit clearer about that, because what I'm thinking of is you just select a couple of troops. Let's just say, you know, for me personally, I would select some lower tier troops, and those guys could go up, and they would be the ones using the trebuchet, and they would be the ones that would you know, potentially be killed by siege bombardment if that was going to happen. And in my opinion, that would actually make so much more sense, considering we are supposed to be the commander of a well-organized force. and I feel like it is completely illogical to assume that some random troops somewhere in your army are eliminated just from pure chance. Yeah, sure, that can happen, absolutely. You know, in a realistic situation, that kind of stuff can happen. But when it comes directly from a siege bombardment, retaliation strike from the enemy's defenses over into your siege engines, it makes much more sense for us to be able to select those troops specifically. Hopefully that has been a little bit clearer. But yeah, anyway, we'll take Veterinarian, even though siege bombardment annoys me, but I'm going to be still taking that. And otherwise, where do we want to spec this this focus point? I'm thinking right now that we're probably not going to be going for anything like that. We'll probably go for medicine. I want to level up medicine skill a little bit more. I feel like we're actually doing really, really nicely in terms of medicine skill at the moment. Okay, so unfortunately, this particular fief has huge amounts of food. As you can see right there, literally 87 days worth of food. I mean, technically, we could try to starve them out with the settlement food stocks, because as we've seen in the past, sometimes market food doesn't really make any difference to the overall survivability or the longevity, shall we say, of the garrison itself. So technically, we could make something happen with that, but we have to be very, very aware of that and actually just, you know, mouse over this you know, this little point right here, because if we don't mouse over, I feel like the sometimes the display doesn't update because of the I don't know, something to do with the troop capacity or something like that. I have no idea what's going on with it, but yeah. Anyway, point is, we're probably going to try to starve them out if we can. Obviously, you can see here that it does look as though the settlement food stock is not going down. So I'm going to assume we are going to have to... I mean, you see that. Look at this. It's actually crazy that it's not going down at all. Look at that. 84 days. It's still 84 days. It's literally been, you know, 2 days or 3 days or something like that. The Sons of Gundabad have made peace with our faction as well. That's actually extremely funny considering the fact that, well... they are technically eliminated. Gundabad is technically eliminated, but their rebellion, their rebels, they are well and truly alive. And yeah, that's very, very funny, isn't it? Yeah, that's very funny. Now, the main reason why I actually didn't want to create our own faction just yet, and I wanted to give it one more go, is because I still want to buy some armor from... Elven territory, right? So if I were to make enemies of them by leaving, and yeah, well, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on if we take fiefs with us or not. But if we do take fiefs with us, then we are probably going to have a war declaration from him, even though technically I personally deserved the Gundabad ownership. But well, as you know, the AI is a bit weird with that. Yes, the AI is a bit weird. Yeah, so unfortunately it does look as though the food supplies are taking from the market food stock at the moment. So actually not taking from the settlement food stock, which is very, very unfortunate. I don't actually know why or how that is calculated, because as far as I am aware, the settlement food stock is what the garrison takes out of, and then the market food stock is literally just for, you know, economic purposes as far as I'm aware, but apparently it does have some interaction with sieges as well. I have seen in the past that sometimes garrisons are fully starved out even when they have food remaining in the marketplace itself. So it could be that that is... I don't know, maybe that's a bug that happened before then, or maybe it's a bug now, I don't know, but it feels like it is a little bit variable. It feels like you're not actually going to get the same result every single time if you try to starve out the garrison, and I've seen multiple different scenarios occur with that particular mechanic, so it's very, very strange, but... that's just how it is. Anyway, we do need to get to clan tier 4 as well. Obviously, that's a thing. You know, we cannot really just, you know, up and go and create our own faction straight away. We should probably try to, you know, get some renown first. And that's why I'm actually trying to do this. If we can succeed And this is going to be, I'm not sure if this is going to be easier or harder than dealing with Gundabad, because obviously Gundabad, they had a lot of pretty high tier troops, but the problem with RHUN is that they're going to have extremely good archers. And the archers are probably going to be what kills us. Potentially. I don't know. We have some somewhat good... oh dear. Yes. We have some somewhat good units. And yeah, well, here's the thing. Did you see what just happened? The Sons of Gundabad have joined Harad. So yeah, they're now going to start... potentially being a bit problematic with that, but hopefully they'll be quite far away from us, so we won't have too many problems. Let's actually see what's happening here. Anything happening? No, nothing is happening whatsoever. So we are actually... wait a minute, let me actually just... yeah, I guess we're fine. Let's go on in, and let's see how this goes. Obviously, this is definitely going to be one of those times where we are a little bit... I'm actually not entirely sure what's going to happen here. We've only got about 64 people or 63 people or something like that. So it's, yeah, 64 actually, including myself. So this is really not going to go very well in my opinion, but we can, I guess, try it. I am going to put them into a square straight away almost. Hopefully that will give them a little bit more defensiveness to get inside, and then we will go for a charge. I'm going to go for a charge a lot earlier this time around. Oh, we look so cool with the cape, I gotta say. I feel like the cape looks great. Really, really pleased that we were able to get that. Nice headshot right there. Nice headshot. Okay, let's tell these guys to go over here. Okay, now we're going to bring out the sword and we're going to go for it. We're going to absolutely destroy our opponents as best as we can. Obviously, I have to be very, very aggressive here. Super, super aggressive. We have to try to be as harsh as possible to these enemies. We need to absolutely slaughter every single one of them. Let's tell these guys to charge it. There we go. Tell these guys to charge it, because they are unfortunately now completely okay. Gonna immediately retreat from that. That was insane. Did you see that? We are literally wearing, well, actually, we're not wearing I was gonna say we're wearing a pretty good helmet. We're actually not wearing a pretty good helmet, to be honest. Yeah, so now this is a problem, because what's gonna happen is they're probably gonna sally out. So I'm going to have to pull back from here, which is really, really annoying, actually, that we have to do that. But, you know, it's kind of required. We're going to go for a little bit more engineering, because I feel like we are... apparently, we're never going to find an engineer companion. I've been looking for one, but for some reason, we can never find one when we need it. So, yeah, we're otherwise just going to go like so. Now, let's see if we can maybe do something here. They've already repaired the walls a little bit. Yeah, see, now the problem is I'm gonna need to construct my oh dear, yes, construct my trebuchets again, and we barely eliminated anyone, didn't we? Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, how did I even die? I think I got shot by someone, obviously, and I mean, there were a lot of my people actually having the same fate happen to them too. They were getting a lot of headshots coming in there. So the question is, what can we do to counter that kind of action? What can we do to counter it? Well, the only thing I can think of, at least, is we can go onto the walls, we can go onto the battlements, and we can try to make that happen like that. We can try to ignore the infantry as much as possible, and then just literally go straight to the archers on the walls. But that is going to be another problem, because, well, they're going to be very, very difficult to deal with in itself, because then potentially the infantry follows us up there, or if they don't, then the archers are obviously going to be... It's going to be very, very difficult for me to actually control everything in that situation too, because we do have to lead our forces onto the battlements. We have to, well, it's kind of annoying that we have to handhold them that much, but there is a lot of micromanaging to do in that situation, because you're going to have to tell your forces to move onto the battlements, and then you need to kind of make sure that they're actually doing damage to the archers. And if they don't do damage to the archers, you're going to need to do something about it. Like, for example, tell them to charge. But then with the charge, they're probably going to run all over the place, and they might even run into the infantry again. So it's a bit of a... very troublesome. Alright, so apparently Mr. Thranduil is now doing this, and he's now instituting royal commissions. Obviously, I missed that vote, because, I mean, let's face it, there's no point in me actually even, you know, looking at this. Because all this does is the influence of creating an army is reduced by 30% for the ruler. Armies led by the ruler earn cohesion at 30% less cost, and armies by non-ruler nobles cost 10% more. Thranduil, yes, he likes to do all that stuff, doesn't he? Yes, he certainly does. Alright, so yeah, anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to head in there once again, and yeah, generally, okay, so look. Most of the time, what I do is I leave the trebuchets up, just because maybe some of our bombardments are actually going to do something, but you're actually very correct. There was another comment by someone who said, you should probably put your trebuchets away, because obviously that's going to distract some of your people, potentially, and they might go on them, and then you're losing troops. And actually, you know what, that's very, very true, because here's the thing. Obviously, now that I think about it, we cannot really waste anyone, because we have so few people as it is, that when we are actually going in here, we do not want even one person to be away from the main group of people, because otherwise we're going to be having some huge problems. You know, we're going to be suffering well, lack of troops basically, and we need them as much as possible. So what we're going to do this time as well is we're actually going to make our way over here. I'm not sure if this is actually even going to work either, but we're going to try it out. Let's put them into a square once again. I just want to make sure that they are as defensive as possible. The only reason why I'm doing that is literally just defense. It's nothing to do with offense at the moment. Wow, these troll gloves are actually really bad for shooting. I should probably swap them out sometime, but yeah, as soon as I do get another elven piece, that is what I will do. Let's just see if I can... There we go, nice headshot. I can't believe I'm going into first person to actually shoot people. It's crazy. Usually I never do that, so there you go. Alright, here we go. Let's put them like this. And I'm going to lead the charge a little bit here, just purely because I'm pretty sure... Yeah, as you can see, we are getting in very quickly here, which is perfect. Nice damage. Nice damage. Can we get some more, though? That's the question. Can we get some more? I need more damage, please. Not taken, though. Not taken. I would like to do more damage, not take more damage. Thank you very much. Okay, let's tell these guys to charge. Tell these guys to charge straight away. Go. Yes. Yes, we need them moving fast. We need them moving fast to the enemy. Fast to the enemy. Slaughter them all. Slaughter them as best as we possibly can. Unfortunately, the archers are running away. Some of our forces are running after them as well, which is probably pretty bad. Let's tell them to hold position back here once again. We cannot have these guys running in randomly to the opposing fellows' archers. That's going to be extremely bad for us. I will try to assault them myself. This is probably not going to be a particularly good idea. I'm going to tell them to charge in again, now that they're consolidated, and I'm going to actually run away from here. Oh, they're actually running towards them. This is bad. Guys, why are you doing this? This is not a good idea. We should focus on the infantry. Oh, no. Oh well, never mind. I guess that they will just... I guess they'll just do that. You know, why not? Okay. I mean, the archers are pretty easy for us to eliminate, so I guess it isn't that bad. But we really... I mean, look. We're still fighting huge amounts of infantry over here. This is very bad. I don't know why the charge order tells them to do that. That is very strange. Oh no, I'm gonna die here, aren't I? This is what I get for... This is what I get for actually using a helmet that is slightly less protective than what we were wearing beforehand. Yeah, okay, so we did end up losing a handful of people. The question is, I think we should probably leave, to be honest. I think we should probably leave. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Unfortunately, I am going to have to remake all of the siege engines and stuff like that, and that is exceptionally annoying. That is very, very annoying, especially considering, how do I stay alive longer? That's the question. How do I stay alive longer? I mean, I am taking a load of damage. Every single time we go in there, I get hit for a lot of damage despite having extremely good armor. The only thing that I can think of to really make that better is to stay out of the generalized, populated areas. But the problem with that is that I need to be there to actually do damage, to actually do damage. Because if I'm not there, then we are fundamentally, giving our entire force a massive disadvantage, because we are able to kill so many enemies in such a short space of time, and it would be amazing if we could actually make it work for once. But well, I guess this gives me a good opportunity to continue leveling up my engineering skill. Oh, look at that. My athletics skill is actually really, really nice now, as we are going to get Ignore Pain. Ignore Pain is probably one of the most powerful perks in the entire game. Obviously, there are a number of really, really good perks that you can get, in Bannerlord. I'm not saying, the funny thing is, every single time I talk about perks, I'm always saying, oh yeah, this perk sucks, this perk is the worst thing ever, I really don't like it. I'm always down on the perks, but there are a number of perks, not many, right? Not many, but there are some of them that are amazing and very, very good. And Ignore Pain is one of them, because look at this, +5 armor to all equipped armor pieces of foot troops in your formation. Now, this may not seem like a lot, but think about it. 5 armor on every single piece of armor. Look at this, 5 armor on helmet, 5 armor on cloak, 5 armor on chest, braces, and boots. That's literally 25 additional armor across the board. So from a raw value perspective, very, very nice, especially considering you can also take a number of other perks that will increase your HP, the HP of your forces, and that's fundamentally also going to make them extremely difficult to kill. Alright, so before we go in, we're obviously going to be getting a nice little perk in engineering here, thanks to our focus point in that. So, Dungeon Architect is actually pretty nice, because that does give your ranged siege engines effectively a 25% dodge chance. You can see here, minus 25% chance of ranged siege engines getting hit while under bombardment, which I personally think is really, really good. This is actually one of a very nice, selection of solid perks here. So anyway, let's go on in, and we're going to see what we can do. Obviously, this is going to be one of those times where we just have to, stay alive pretty much, right? That is the main deal here. We personally have to stay alive, and this is one of those. It's actually really funny, because generally, whenever I'm going to tell my infantry to follow me, actually. Whenever I say, oh yes, we need to stay alive, that's very important. Yes, as soon as I say that, it all of a sudden becomes 10 billion times harder to actually do the thing that I said I need to do. So yeah, very, very funny in that regard. Okay, let's see if I can actually use my third person here. I think I can probably do it. Or not? What? Okay. Yeah, I can hit that guy. Alright. There we go. Nice. Nice. Got some people over there. That's kind of annoying. Yeah. Okay, okay, we're for some reason taking why are we taking damage, guys? Why are we taking damage? Why are you lowering your shield? I don't know what they're doing right now. It's so weird to see the AI do that, because they literally lower their shield randomly now for some reason. And we don't want them to do that. We want them to go in there and keep their shields up. Should we go into shield wall? Should we go into shield wall? Go into shield wall. Why not? We'll do that, and then we'll see how that goes. Maybe it's gonna work. Okay, come on now. Okay. Bit of a weird one. These guys are all using their shields and making it very, very difficult for us to do any damage whatsoever. But I guess we can just be kind of thankful that we're actually able to get in here with minimal damage taken so far. And that's kind of what we wanted, after all. Okay, there we go. Nice, nice. Nice thrust. Okay, now we can... Yes, now we can thrust at them from behind as well. Massive penetration. Look at that. Absolutely destroying them from behind. They are very much enjoying it, as you can see by them now turning around. Wow, they want something from the front now. Okay, here we go, here we go. Let's do this. We should have this in the bag. Yeah, no, this is absolutely fine. This is very, very satisfying as well, by the way. Any single time you can come into an enemy from behind, it's just a whole other level of satisfaction, you know? Because usually they're just going to be extremely annoying, you know? They're just going to be like, oh, yeah, you know, this is what we're all about, you know? We like to defend ourselves and all that. But no, this time around, look at them. They're just letting us do whatever we want to them, which is absolutely fantastic. Generally, going to be very, very good to see it. And now we're done. Look at that. Look at that. That is nice. That is exceptionally good. Okay, now we can actually go over here. Don't get shot in the face. Don't get shot in the face. I'm trying to use my forces as a bit of a meat shield there. Didn't really want to do that, but kind of necessary, unfortunately. And let's just get over here. Kill these guys as best as I can. There we go. Just slice through them. Just try to absolutely murder massive, massive amounts of cleave. That is what we like to see. And then we will hopefully sustain even fewer casualties. I mean, you can see here we've lost about 8 people so far. I mean, this is the funny thing. Every single time we lose any person, any troop whatsoever, it is fundamentally decreasing our overall chances of being able to pretty much do anything else. It's actually quite staggering. I mean, we do still have some Sylvan levies, of course, so it is making it a little bit more difficult, but of course, if you think about elves in general, they are exceedingly good, you know? They have amazing stats and all that, so, you know, generally, you're going to be thinking you're going to be fine, you know? Having a couple of Sylvan levies, that's not really that bad, because they're generally better than most higher tier units that you can get from the other factions. So, yeah, this is actually very, very nice, to be honest. But, again, as I say, you lose some of those guys, and then it's a whole other kettle of fish, because then you're literally like, oh, I lost 10 people in that battle. Now I'm unable to win against these guys. Or maybe I need to, you know, do this siege a little bit differently or something like that, you know. That kind of stuff. Anyway, let's see if I can do a little bit of nice little headshot action there. Maybe I can hit that guy over there. I did actually hit him. Very nice. Unfortunately, not a headshot. And shot my own palace guard. That's great. At least he was only knocked unconscious. So we don't really need to worry about him too much. And you can see here that these enemies literally just stayed in the same position over by the opposite wall. A bit of a strange decision to make, to be honest. I personally probably would not have done that if I were them. I probably would have come over to try and assist in our allies needing help. And apparently they just decided not to do that completely. They just decided to let us do whatever, and that, I suppose, is that. There you go. We've actually captured something. Now, what I'm actually going to do is, if Thranduil doesn't give it to us again, then I'm going to leave. Okay, then I'm going to leave, and then we're going to have to. I'm not entirely sure what's even going to happen then, because technically leaving, I don't think we can take a fief with us or anything like that. But yeah, technically leaving is going to cause them to declare war on us or something like that, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to do anything, because imagine the amount of distance it is going to take for him to cover all the way from where he is, which is obviously back where, you know, back where he was fighting Gundabad and everything, and he was already having problems. Did you notice? He was already having problems with food supplies and cohesion and all that stuff whenever he was attempting to take Gundabad itself. So even that was too difficult for him to accomplish, and so as a result, well, I mean, I highly doubt he's going to be able to get over here. You know, getting over here is going to be even worse for him. So we're just going to go in like that. Nice. We got some good leadership skill there. I'm going to be taking all of these guys, and yeah, the question is, do we want to keep them in our party so that we can convert them to our side? That's the question. Because if we convert them to our side, and if we do actually end up getting this, we can potentially Put them in the garrison as defenders. You know, we could do that. Might be an idea. Might be an idea. But what we're going to do first is we're just going to get rid of every other person. There we go. And then we're just going to be... should I donate the prisoners here right now? You know what? I'm not going to donate the prisoners just yet. I am going to try and recruit some more people as well. Let's just go into the trade screen here because we do have 52, actually almost 53,000 to get. So we are just going to be selling a bunch of our swords and stuff like that, obviously, that we created. And this is the reason why I generally feel like smithing is usually pretty good to go for if you can handle leveling it up. That's the biggest deal here. Now, as you can see, we do have a noble bow here, which does provide us with a little bit of extra damage, and we also have a noble longbow. Now, personally for me, obviously, as I've said in previous episodes as well, I would personally like to see the Mirkwood bow and the various other bows that you can get in the game be slightly higher damage. I feel like the damage that they currently have is not really enough to reflect how elite and how much damage they should really do, because you can see here we have the Noldor longbow. I can actually use this right now. As you can see, it does have slightly better stats, but it doesn't have better damage, despite this being a Noldor bow. And Noldor stuff, as far as I'm aware, is the best gear in the game. So it is a little bit weird that the Noldor bow and the Mirkwood bow have the same damage. That's what I'm trying to say. And the Noble bow and the Noble longbow have more damage than both of the other ones, than both of the custom, both of the custom things. So, wait a minute. Did I just literally... I thought this was the looting screen for a second. I am such an idiot. Okay, let's not do that, okay? Let's not do that. Let's actually just do this the old-fashioned way then. Let's do this like so. There we go. Okay. Did I actually buy anything? No, I was just looking at stuff. That's so funny. All right, so let's just wait here for a little bit of time because I would like to see whether he decides to give this to us or not. The Army of Poachers quest is also available. I do need to also see when there are recruits. Now, the great thing about this mod is that culture immediately changes, by the way. Okay, oh, I am actually... Now he's giving it to me. You see that? Now he's giving it to me. Okay. So, okay, fine. Interesting. Okay. This is gonna be kind of weird now. Yeah, this is going to be kind of weird. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to convert as many people as possible. Like I said, generally, the funny thing is about leadership, Famous Commander is obviously fantastic if you want to try to level up your renown as fast as possible, clan tier, etc. But Loyalty and Honor is what I would have taken if I kind of thought we were going to be in a situation like this. Because Loyalty and Honor is basically going to allow us to convert prisoners just that much faster. We're also good. We've got Stout Defender. We've got Stout Defender, which is 50%, so that's pretty nice. Okay, so we have one attribute point to spend. I'm going to be putting it in Intelligence here. And I will actually place another point in... Do we want Leadership or do we want Engineering? I'm thinking Engineering, to be honest. I'd like to level that up. Because for some reason, we never ever get lucky with that. Very annoying. We might actually end up leaving the faction anyway and taking our fief with us. That might in fact be happening sometime soon. The main reason why I am saying that right now is because look at what we have to deal with here. Look at this. Look at this loyalty. It's absolutely terrible. Terrible loyalty. And we also obviously cannot institute any really good policies. That's going to be a problem. Let's take a look at the kingdom screen for a real quick second and actually see if I will be able to get something instituted here that is actually going to help us with loyalty. I always find it super funny as well that the AI never likes to get loyalty policies for some reason. They place way too much importance on cash, even though cash is going to come to you no matter what in this game when you have a town or, well, not so much a castle, but when you have a town and you can actually take care of it properly, usually you're going to be getting loads of cash and you won't really need to worry too much. So town taxes paid to the ruler being reduced by 5%, that doesn't really matter, but town loyalty by 1, effectively reducing the chances of a rebellion is really, really good. Can we actually go for it? Yeah, we can actually go for it. I do have to spend 150. No, I have to spend 60. Okay, yeah, let's do it. There we go. Okay. Can I just ask something real quick? Am I the only vassal? That surely can't be right. It feels like I am the only vassal, which is quite funny, all intents and purposes. Let's go for this. Okay, he's actually saying no, but I am going to be going for 150 on forgiveness of debts because settlement loyalty by 2 is insanely good. He doesn't like us that much right now, but that's okay. This is obviously not very good for me. What about this one? No, grazing rights. Trial by jury is actually really, really good in my opinion, but unfortunately I don't have enough influence to be able to do this. So we did institute a couple of things that are really, really nice. And this is, I'm actually really very surprised that we were able to get something like that happening because you could see here we now have loyalty. The owner culture is unfortunately causing some problems, and we also obviously have security issues as well, because there is 0 garrison in here. I'm kind of hoping we're going to get some... Are we not actually... Wait a minute. Are these all tier 6s or something like that? Or tier 8s or something? I'm going to assume they are. No, they're just tier 2s. Okay, tier 2s should be pretty easy for us to convert, but it might actually be the case that we might not even be able to convert them. If that's the case, then we are probably just going to have to bite the bullet and recruit as many people as possible that we can from the town itself, and then put those recruits in the garrison, which is going to be pretty tough, actually. Pretty tough to bankroll here. I mean, obviously, the marketplace is going to refresh over time, but you can see just how much it refreshes by. It's really not doing very well, unfortunately. Mordor troll shields sell for an insane amount of cash, apparently, and we can also sell some of these things here. Let's sell some of this, I guess. There we go. All right. There's another 19,000 there for us, but as you can see, we're actually having some problems. We're having some problems with food, not food. We're having some problems with money right now, and let's just take a quick look. How much are we actually making? Yeah, so you could see here that obviously one town isn't really going to cover it, especially a town that has 3,000 prosperity. I mean, 3,000 prosperity is still decent and still relatively good, but obviously it could be a lot better. Ah, there we go. We're actually starting to make some cash now, as you can see from the settlement actually bringing in 4,000. It's probably because trade has kind of resumed a little bit here, and we're also going to be getting, or trying to get, as much loyalty as possible. Here we go. We got some more people coming in now. Okay, let's go to the garrison, and we'll put some of these guys in here. There we go. Literally 7 people. Yeah, okay. Ha ha ha. 7 people in the garrison. That's really going to make a huge difference, isn't it? Alright, so we have a situation. Yes. We have a situation where the garrison has decided to sally out, and indeed we have a wonderful vassal here that wants to try to interfere in our plans. I was attempting to take this castle because it's, well, it's kind of smart to do so. It's kind of on the outskirts of territory, kind of far away from pretty much everything, and I was somewhat hoping we'd be able to do pretty nice here, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case. So instead... Okay, wait a minute. Do we actually have a really, really high... Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, this is really good, actually. The question is, they're going to be very aggressive, aren't they? I feel like they're going to be very aggressive. Let's actually see what we could do here. So, let's just have a look. Okay, there we go. Let's put them around about here. We need them to go basically up to the boundary of where we want. Maybe here? Maybe the river is actually pretty good. I don't know. I think we'll probably go somewhere like this, and then we'll put this guy over here. Now, let's have a look. Okay, so we can literally make it so that, yeah, you can actually tick multiple things. Thank you very much, by the way. There was a comment about this. So yes, you can actually tick multiple things here. So if you want shields and polearms, you can do that. If you want only polearms, then you can do that, which I personally really like. Unfortunately, as I said before, there isn't any preference for, like, one-handeds. So I was kind of hoping that there would be like one-handed I guess, you know what? Actually, what we could do is we could do something like this. So we could just do shields and polearms over here, and then just shields over here. So maybe that's going to make it so that they are using one-handed rather than polearms. At least that's the hope, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to have these guys out the front here, and then these fellows will be the secondaries, right? These guys will be the secondaries, and they'll come in from behind. So these fellows are going to be going into a, I guess, square? I guess a square? I don't know. Everyone's going into a square right now. That's actually not what I wanted them to do, but okay, sure. Okay, so let's just do the same thing that we did last time, where we have the wonderful little flanking action that we can maybe do here. Let's move, actually, wait a minute. Let's do this. These guys are going to go like so. Let's put them around the side here. And these fellows over here. There we go. Alright, so we're going to just move very, very far back here. I'm not sure if that's a particularly good idea, but I mean, maybe it's going to work. I mean, we've only used this against Mordor before, technically, so I'm not sure if it's really going to do much. Okay, yeah, you can see here we're now starting to get some issues potentially. Let's move these guys over here. We might just have a problem. Yeah, we might just have a bit of an issue here because the enemy is going to have some big problems dealing with both groups. One of them is, I mean, they're going to just charge us, aren't they? They're just going to charge us with their cavalry because they've got a load of cavalry over there as well. This is a problem. Yeah, this is a bit of an issue. Yeah, so you can see here they're coming over to us right now, which is okay. Don't get shot in the face though, please. Okay, decent.
Infantry! Move!
Okay, unfortunately it does look as though this is maybe a little bit too dicey for us to use this strategy against them. I don't know how this would have gone otherwise. I mean, we can always pull them back, I suppose, and we can try to make it work a little bit. But you could see here, we're kind of having a problem because there are so many cavalry. Okay, shall we charge? Because I'm thinking charge. Let's do it. Let's charge. Straight on in. Straight on in. Alright, so it looks as though this might actually be a victory for us. I was, you know, funnily enough, the actual siege, I was trying to do the siege very, very carefully, and I was not really planning on fighting the entire garrison, but apparently if they want to come out and fight us, then I guess it makes it slightly... Does it make it easier? I don't know. I guess so, to a degree. It might. But what's really funny is, I don't know whether you noticed this, but my forces are running very, very quickly. I'm not sure if that is like a... if that's like a perk that we have or something like that, but it feels very good. It feels like we're moving very, very fast on the battlefield. I don't know whether that is actually the case, but it does seem pretty nice. And I feel like this is another one of those times where the opponent is drastically outscaling you and doing so much, well, able to field a lot more combat strength, right? Loads more combat strength. But the unfortunate thing for them is that the combat strength is all tied up in the cavalry, you know? And the cavalry themselves are, well, I mean, they didn't do a particularly... I mean, I'm not going to say the cavalry didn't do a particularly good job, because I feel like the cavalry was actually fine. It was just the command of those cavalry that didn't really know what to do with them, so to speak. You know, generally it would have been a much better idea to have the cavalry come in from both sides. Two different sides charging in at the same time as the infantry probably would have completely destroyed us. But they decided to do some weird stuff where the cavalry came in a little bit earlier than the infantry, and they decided to attack in waves. And yeah, that's okay, you know, some of the time attacking in a wave strategy is alright, you know. Sometimes that can work really, really nicely. But in this case, it just absolutely led to this fellow's downfall. It was just completely and utterly... it was just terrible, because they lost a lot of their offensive power by all of these cavalry just ending up dying. And now look at what's happened. Look at this. Now we can literally go into an auto-resolve against these guys, and they are 100% dead. We get another 83 renown, which is extremely, extremely nice. We're going to be taking this guy prisoner, because we do actually have the ability to maintain huge amounts of people. As in, like, we can 100% capture them. There is no way that they can escape. So that's obviously a very, very big deal. Now we're just going to take all of these. I'm going to take as much as I can here. And that's going to be it. Yep. And we are then going to move on. 27,000 experience. The question is, do we actually want to take any of this stuff? Do we want to use it? Do we want to sell it? Right now, my smithing skill should probably carry us forward. But the question remains, do we need the experience? I think we do need the experience to a certain degree. So should I go for it? Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? Why not? And let's see if we get a couple of level ups. Maybe we'll get a couple of level ups. If we do, then that's going to be quite good. And the value of it is, oh wow, we only got 2. Are you serious? Wow, okay, that's pretty bad actually, all things considered. But look at this, look at this. We're getting a load of conversions from this battle as well, which is extremely nice. That means we may in fact be able to do some pretty cool things when we get back to our garrison. Okay, so there's only 151 here, and it's only the militia. But, as you see, they actually have... Oh yeah, you guessed it. They actually have all of this to deal with. Yeah, we have to deal with all the siege engines and stuff like that, which is going to be very, very frustrating, very annoying. But that's how it's going to be, as we do need to take it. Alright, so we've actually destroyed their walls now, and now we can actually do something even better. So you can see here, look at what we have available. Tough Steed. This is plus 10 armor to mounts of troops in your formation, so if you're playing hardcore cavalry, this is pretty nice if you want to keep your horses alive. For me personally, I don't think this is that good in comparison to Dauntless Steed. Dauntless Steed is fantastic because look at what you have here. Plus 5 armor to all equipped armor pieces of mounted troops in your formation. So yeah, you remember something similar to that effect very, very recently? We got that in the Athletics tree, yeah, ignore pain. You see here, of foot troops in your formation. So this is basically the same thing, but for mounted troops. Absolutely fantastic. So Dauntless Steed is what I'm going to take, even though for me personally, I would prefer to take something a little bit different because I, of course, don't have that many cavalry. So yeah, we're just going to have to deal with it. Anyway, we can now just take away all of our trebuchets. We're going to make this as smooth and as simple as possible because obviously I want to make sure that we lose basically no one. If we can lose no one in this particular siege, we will be very, very pleased indeed. That's going to make things so much simpler for us in the future. And indeed, maybe I can level up my archery skill somewhat. Oh, it's really bright. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can hit that guy. There we go. Nice. Yeah, unfortunately, these fellows all have massive amounts of shields, so it will be a little bit difficult. Let's tell these guys to hold position in here, and I'm gonna play a little bit more aggressively this time. He says, almost getting shot in the face. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. That's okay. That's not okay. Good weapons. They've got some very damaging weapons, or he just hit me in the face. Either way. That could be the case. Okay, let's tell them to charge now. Tell them to charge. And as you see, the enemy is completely and utterly outmatched. Not much for them to do here. So it does go to show that apparently the garrisons do make up... Whoa, did you see that? Did you see that guy go flying right there? Unfortunately, I didn't see the full thing, but he was flying across the floor. Hilarious. Love those ragdoll effects. Whenever they happen, it's always very, very funny. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Don't die now. I just need to make sure that I survive this last little engagement here, and then we should be good. Yep, that is it. Look at that. There we go. All right, so we actually managed to do that. Obviously, very, very simple in comparison to what we've had to deal with in the past. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. We're not going to be doing anything with these guys. We're going to be just leveling them up. There we go. I'm not going to convert anyone either. We're not going to take these fellows either. And we are just going to... Yeah, we're just going to take the loot this time. We'll just take the loot this time. Okay, so we have apparently taken someone prisoner. Is that me taking them prisoner, or is that someone else? I actually don't know. Okay, so now this is going to be a bit problematic because obviously I need to get this as well. I need to get ownership of this as well. If I can, then that's going to be great. If I can't, then I'm not entirely sure what's even going to happen there because if Thranduil is the only guy... Let me actually just see. Is he the only guy in our literal faction? I think he is, isn't he? Yes. Yes. We are the only two clans in this entire faction. That is actually kind of hilarious. And he has... wow. Does he have... He has two people? He has two Okay. Let me just calm down. He has two people. He has himself and Legolas, and that's it. That's all he has. No wonder he didn't want to give me anything. I mean, to be fair, he should have given me Mount Gundabad, because I would have made sure that it remained in our possession. But, you know, this is actually staggering. I cannot believe that this is happening. Okay, yeah, so we're going to just spend 20 influence. We're just going to get that for us. I technically could vote for him and continue to get relation with him, just in case, but I think it's fine to do it as it is. Okay, so let's just do this. Gonna put, yeah, we're gonna just put 20k in here, even though I don't have that much cash. We're gonna go for a fairgrounds here. It's gonna take 13 days. That's actually pretty decent. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back. And, well, there's a militia there. I mean, that's going to have to do for now. I don't have the ability to go back and forth right now. I am going to be doing that off screen. But, yeah, I don't really want to do that right this second. So we're just going to go back here, convert all of our prisoners, and then place them in the garrison here. Because the town is the main thing, right? The town is the main thing that I want to make sure that we always have under our control. So there you go. We've gotten these guys. This is exactly the reason why I said previously that converting prisoners is actually really, really nice, especially when you can do this. When you can do this and place them in the garrison here, especially as elves, that is fantastic. But I'm not sure if you can do that in the next version of the game, or should we say next version of the mod, because I think evil characters will automatically leave your party if you try to convert them to your side, which, to be honest, is probably pretty good considering the fact that you don't really want to have Uruks running around Gondor armies, you know? That doesn't really make much sense. Okay, so we've got 60 loyalty right here. I feel like that's probably going to have to do. Let's have a look. 30 days. Wow. Okay, 30 days that's going to take. That is going to take so long. I feel like what we need actually is an orchard. So let's get that 20 days. Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is we're going to have to look for another companion. We're going to have to look for another companion that actually has the ability to run our day-to-day affairs in the town here. I feel like we need someone. Is this person actually? No. Well, the one thing that I can do is try to do that in my own time. Obviously, we don't have to really worry about anything much now because all I need to do is go in here and literally just sell some stuff. You know, I can literally sell any of these legendary, well, any of these swords whatsoever, and immediately I get cash. So that is going to be extremely, extremely useful for us as we fight to preserve our territory in RHUN's little region of Middle-earth here. And, well, we're basically by ourselves. This is going to be a little bit difficult. We also have Erebor and, yeah, actually Erebor, Dale, etc., etc. Them actually doing something, which is very, very nice. It's also very nice that Lothlorien hasn't been taken. I seem to recall that in our Uruk playthrough, the Lothlorien faction was already eliminated very, very quickly. So, yeah, it's nice to see that. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.